right, let's get started. First question. And I shuffled the cards. I shuffled the cards. While you were talking, I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying. I was shuffling because I needed all my attention on the cards. This is the first question for all our candidates. We're going to start with you, Mr. Foster. As mayor, what policies would you implement to sustain current private sector jobs and to spur additional new business?
Great question. I never mind going first when it comes to jobs. I think we have to create, how much time do we have for questions?
You have 2 minutes, sir.
I think we have to focus on creating environments that are conducive to creating jobs, and I think number one is public safety and tackling not only the crime issues and keeping you safe in your shops, but the people coming to your shops are safe. I think that we have to tackle this issue with homelessness, with care and compassion, hooking up the homeless person with the services that they need, whether it's mental health, inebriate care. But we also have to stand firm when somebody chooses this as a lifestyle. I think we have to tackle the panhandling issues. It's all on my website, billfosterformayor.com. But once we create these safe environments that make it conducive to you to provide a service or trade, we also have to do better educating our kids, and I have an education platform that I encourage you to look at. The availability of our workforce, earning a living wage job. And I think we have to continue to strive to work on education and know that some kids aren't wired to go to college, so we redirect or refocus their emphasis on vocational training and to provide that for them. I think that the city's procurement policy, and I'm the only one that has come up with this idea, the city of St. Petersburg spends millions of dollars of your money, and they do it in a RFP or competitive bid process. But I'd like to, in this economy, I'd like to do more protectionist and spend as much money as we can here. So I'd like to give preferential treatment to St. Petersburg-owned businesses and keep that money here flowing within the city of St. Pete up to a cap. If there's a large disparity in price or value, then I think we can go outside of the city. But we need to encourage, you know, if they don't provide. Who's got the little ding? That's a nice way to end it. BillFosterForMayor.com, and there's a lot of information on job creation.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Same question to you, Mr. Gibbons. As mayor, what policies would you implement to sustain current private sector jobs and to spur additional new jobs and businesses?
Number one, I think you have to create that framework or that environment that Mr. Foster talked about, but I think you do that through several different things. One is you have permitting processes that do not work. People that are trying to get into business, they can't seem to get it figured out. I've talked to several business owners who has taken them almost a year to get through the permitting process. So we must streamline the permitting process. Number one, we have to focus and keep jobs, livable wage jobs here. And so we have to figure out how to incentivize those businesses to make sure that they stay here and we keep jobs here. That's priority number one. Because if you lose jobs, that has more of a negative impact on our local economy than trying to go out and find other jobs, other companies to come here. But while you still keep jobs here, you still have to recruit new companies. And instead of creating and finding companies just to move here, any company, you want their corporate headquarters. Why do you want their corporate headquarters? And the reason you want their corporate headquarters is because you don't want to create a situation where you have leakage. Leakage is when there's a company here, I just use the Outback Steakhouse as an example. A portion of the dollars that they get, they send back to their corporate headquarters. We need to make sure that we create more Mark Fergusons of the world, more people that have businesses that are from here and by us. And then finally, we're going to hold people accountable. The accountability process that when we spend our money going forward in the city budget, we're just not going to spend it free and get a free-for-all. An example is when we give money to these nonprofits to make sure that the homeless folks and we have a safe environment, when we give money to these nonprofits, they have to do more than just house and feed them overnight. Why don't we create an environment where they're learning job skills, learning to come take their meds every day, and learning how to fill out a job application, and so many other things. And so those are just some of the things. And if you go to our website, you'll see at www.gibbons4mayor. There's some other things that we do as well. Thank you.
Ms. Ford, the same question as Mayor. What policies would you implement to sustain current private sector jobs and to spur additional new jobs and business?
Thank you. Well, we have been witnessing just an incredible economy here at the national level, which has slowed down and affected us here at the local level. And I think a good part of that breakdown in Wall Street, if you will, occurred because of the deregulation with the Glass-Steagall Act. When we took away the barriers between investment banking, depository banking, and insurance companies, suddenly all of them were investing in these financial products, these credit default swaps. Suddenly all of them were at risk. And then you know what happened last November. Congress wants us to bail them out. And then of course some of that continued right on through the new administration. Nonetheless, the bottom line is we have been impacted here locally too. So how do we respond to that? First of all, I think we always have to go back and look at and make sure whatever regulation we have in the city, is it necessary, is it working? In addition to what Deveron said about the permitting process, which I think we need to continually look at streamlining those methods over there, but I think we have to look at our taxes. Are they real? Are they necessary? Are they related to whatever service is supposedly being provided from those taxes? Occupational taxes just really don't make me happy. Why are you taxing somebody who's providing a job? Makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think we could get rid of those in order to encourage more businesses to expand. I think we need to expand the businesses that we have here. I worked in Houston, Texas for 8 years in the Texas Medical Center. It's an incredible jobs generator, and folks with many different backgrounds can find their place in society, get a job in such a medical center. You go to a hospital, it's like a mini UN. There's some place for everybody. And I think that's really what we should be striving for in whatever industries we move to attract. As you know, we have the QTI, Quality Target Industry Statute, which makes the west coast of Florida one of the bookends for tech jobs. I'd like to continue to grow that. Kathleen Ford, www.kathleenford.com.
And Mr. Gibbons, what policies would you implement to sustain current private sector jobs and to spur additional new jobs and businesses?
The first thing you have to address when it comes to jobs and where we are in this economy is everybody has great ideas about what we're going to do to create new jobs. None of that should be hindered. That's a good thought process. But the foremost thing that we need to do immediately, and I would do as your mayor, is make sure that people have jobs in this community, keep them. That's the big issue, because number one, you could always put a plan coming forth about what you're going to do about jobs, but that's not the short-term answer. So we need a short-term answer that's good. Have people that have jobs do their best in the city to keep their jobs. And what do we do about jobs coming forward? Now let's talk about jobs coming forward. Primary, and let's look at it like this. Let's suppose that you're the CEO of a company, and any of us as mayor come to you and say, we want you to move your business to St. Petersburg. I think here's the questions you're going to ask, particularly if you're going to bring your staff of a number of people with you. Is St. Petersburg safe? What's a nice neighborhood to live in? Tell me about the taxes. But if you got children, the question you're going to ask is, tell me about the schools. You've read in the paper, St. Petersburg got some DNF schools. I was the first city councilman to ever put the city council and the school board together because I understood the importance of schools to the community in this town. That needs to be fixed. I know more about it than anybody running for this office. The next thing is permitting. You heard about permitting. When I was on city council previously, permitting was a disaster. It does not improve. It needs to improve. It needs to get done. And we need to be friendly. We need to encourage people to get businesses open, not do everything that we can to hinder them from getting them open. And those are the difference, and that's why you would consider Larry Williams for mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.